Welcome back to Rundlii Gaming again. So, where we left off last time is we did complete AAA games and we got a bunch of other stuff done. Research and development was incorporated. A few other big things in those last several videos there. So as I mentioned in the previous video, the next thing we're going to try to focus on is building an MMORPG. So we're going to try to go for the really big games at this point. And I'll kind of give you a rundown of how that plays out. So at this point, we left off with Ninja Gaiden 6 being the most recent game that we created, and we're already up to 1.5 million units sold. Ixion is currently still selling consoles. Looks like there's about $300,000 worth of sales, so it's not too bad, but it's still at least getting some sales out there. Alright, and so at this point, actually we'll probably go ahead and spend some of this research real quick, because we got a lot of it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and boost technology up. Because we're probably going to just try to make sure that we make the best possible game that we can. So we're just going to go ahead and boost everyone up a little bit with a bunch of this technology here. And we'll go and do some research. And all we really have at this point are more topics, so let's go ahead and continue training. Yeah, we could probably leave that running at 3 million. I think at this point we have enough to where we're doing moderately well with our income as well. Alright, so we'll continue training. Alright, so we're going to give him boost level 3. Everyone else here has boost level 3, so we're going to give him design specialist. We have him design specialist. We may just train a few more people here, otherwise we're going to run out of things for people to do real quick. We're going to push him further in technology. We're going to push him further in design. We'll push him further in technology. Because basically, if we want to make a really good MMORPG, we're going to want to make sure that we also build it as best as we can. So pretty much what we're trying to do is just raise everyone's stats up a little bit. Because as I said, with MMORPGs, it is a huge undertaking. It's going to be very costly. And you'll quickly get what I'm talking about once we begin here. Let's do a little bit of contract work here. Mostly because this allows us to get a little bit of additional research here. It won't be a great deal, but it also buys us a little bit of time as our research and development lab over there continue to get us additional research as well. We'll skip the convention. And this is a fairly big one, so we'll see if we can actually complete that, which I'm sure we should be able to since we do pretty decent stats at this point. Yep, so we did that with pretty much ease. Alright, so we're going to do one more round of training. As I said, one thing you do probably notice at this point is that when I was developing all these games up to this point, one of the best possible investments you can have are highly trained workers, because if they're really well trained, they tend to get more design and more technology. With more design and more technology, you tend to produce better games. And then as you produce better games, that also is going to mean that you're going to get a lot more 10 ratings. With 10 ratings, you sell a lot more. So that's why I said it's good to emphasize trying to make sure that you get as much of your stats up as possible. The big difficulty early game is the fact that much of the time it's hard to get the research you need for your basic research on top of getting research for training. And he'll get technology as well. And since we'll do one more, because mostly I was trying to make sure that we spent enough time in order to basically get everyone tired here, so because once they get tired, I can send them all on vacation. Once they get on vacation, we can start trying to kick out our MMORPG here. And we'll go and train him when the other ones are on vacation. So let's go ahead and bring up his technology further. And now we're going to kick everyone off to vacation. Alright, so at this point we got everyone back. We did a bunch of our research. Now this is where we're going to go ahead and do our real big undertaking of MMO. As you can see, the starting price tag is $40. And as I mentioned with AAA games, the baseline is already $10 million, which is still a pretty heavy price tag, but then it jumps up to $40 million. So it's definitely pretty pricey there. What we're going to probably make is I usually like to stick with something that is going to be very popular generally. Like a fantasy game that is RPG and adventure would probably work. Let's do Ultima, just a reference to just an old game. So we're going to go ahead and throw it on the Ixion as one of our systems. Mbox. And as I mentioned, since we are going to be running an adventure, we're going to want to get rid of it, not have the play system for this one. Because as I mentioned, that was one of the good things about having our own console, is we can now actually make adventure games because we don't actually have to include the PlayStation 5. And we'll do the 4.0. The version 7 graphics, we're already at 53 million. Alright, so story and quests are going to be a big deal. So engine is probably not as important. However, if we try to bring gameplay any further down, it's going to exhaust build there, so... And we got pretty much everything checkmarked over there, so we're going to go with this. Yeah, I believe we have it set up to where the top 3 would be the... I probably should have double checked the names on it, but... As you can see, this bar moves really slow still. Well, I guess it's fairly similar to the AAA game, but it's still very slow. So we should break some records here pretty easily. So on an RPG adventure, I'm guessing gameplay would probably be a bigger deal. Hopefully. And let's go ahead and also do marketing. We're already dropping 53 million. 2 million is pretty much changed at this point, so... so on this one, the professionals disagree. So... we're not going to get that little extra bit of hype on it. But hopefully, actually, let's go do our marketing campaign. Basically, it just helps us boost a little bit of our hype as it progresses through. Alright, so we have... So Brandon, we don't actually have anyone specifically for dialogue, so that's fine. Ethan is actually for level design. I may go ahead and just bounce these two out. I'm not really sure which one will be better. Well, I almost think level design might be better. Because artificial intelligence, I don't believe is a big deal for RPG on here, but it might be a little bit bigger of a deal for adventure. But I think level design is a much bigger deal for adventure portion of it. So let's go ahead and drop that then. Actually, I may have to go ahead and raise that just to get Brandon under 100% there. The only downside is, yeah, I may just take my guy off of graphics, because that might be a big deal if we do poorly on that. We'll keep Ethan there since he does do level design already. So Ethan, my person, and I think it was Derek. Yeah, we'll just boost everybody. this point we're going to do a large booth. And so at this point, the convention is going to be telling them all about Ultima. So, as I said, we have to make sure this is as big of a deal as we can make it. Let's see here.